friends. Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. I'm actually filming this in kind of a different location, and that's really just because I feel like with posting videos every day I need to change things up a little bit, or you guys are gonna get kind of bored of everything that I'm doing. I hope this is okay. You're on a bed right now. I just thought it'd be fun, I don't know. Today I wanted to talk about YouTube Rewind, and that's kind of why this is a little bit more casual, because I feel like I just want to talk about it. YouTube Rewind 2019 recently came out, and there have definitely been a lot of negative opinions about it. And initially, my initial response was, this sucks. And I think number one, that's because it's almost a little bit become somewhat of a like meme to hate on YouTube Rewind. So when it came out, I kind of went into it being like, I'm probably not gonna like this. Like, and I really didn't like what they did this year. Like, even after watching it a couple times, I really didn't like it. Something I did want to touch on was maybe why over the years we've seen this sort of evolution of hate towards something like YouTube Rewind. Because in theory, this should be great. It's kind of the whole community coming together in one video, and you get to see all different aspects of YouTube. And when you watch the old ones, that is definitely the vibe that you get. I actually just sat down and watched every single one that's ever been made, and it was very interesting to see the evolution of not only Rewind and who was like in Rewind, but also the way that YouTube kind of did things. Having been on YouTube, I've been posting videos for just over 2 years now, and I've been watching YouTube for about 3 years, so I haven't really been here since the beginning. Like, I watched it when I was a kid, but I wasn't like in YouTube culture the way that other people have been. But I feel like having gotten into the community at a very interesting time, in a time where we were just having the adpocalypse and everything was just kind of starting to, like, the golden era was kind of just ending when I started watching YouTube. And I think it's really interesting to reflect and sort of introspect on why YouTube Rewind and like YouTube as a whole, why there is so much negativity towards the video now. So let's start. I get YouTube Rewind, if you don't know, it's basically every year YouTube puts out, it's almost like a commercial or an advertisement for YouTube. They have all the big creators that are in it. They sometimes throw in memes, they throw in the year's hottest songs, like it's this whole thing. And the farthest YouTube Rewind I could find back was 2015. So this year, I believe was their 4th or 5th. And that one was adorable. Here's the thing. So in earlier YouTube Rewinds, I think the reason that they are so successful was for a lot of reasons. I think one of the biggest reasons being there were just less creators. There were less big creators. I watched that video and I recognized in 2014, like I watched the 2014 one, and I recognized almost every single person that was in the video because the YouTube community and who was in sort of the top tier, the most popular, it was only a few people. So every person that was watching it knew at least most of the people that were in it because everyone was watching those same people. And I think that's something that is inevitable with the growth of YouTube. I think now you have channels, there are so many channels with over 1 million subscribers, which is so many subscribers that I have literally no idea who they are. I have no clue. And I kind of realized this especially because I just made a video talking about like if YouTubers had senior superlatives, what would they be? And I noticed that in the video so many people were like, why didn't you pick this person for this category? Why didn't you pick this person? And I was like, I have no idea who those people are because YouTube itself is so massive and so huge that every day I stumble upon a new creator that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers that I have literally never heard of. I think that's a really interesting thing where how do you combat that? How do you make a YouTube Rewind that's going to appease everybody? Because there is literally no way that you can put everyone's favorite creator into one video. That's just not an option. It's not realistic. So then you have to go and put in the people who are like at the top. And I think a lot of what YouTube Rewind, especially mistakes they've made in the past and especially this year, is they put a lot of value in numbers. And not that numbers don't have value to them, but I think in the early days of Rewind, it was like if you just had a meme kickoff, like you could be in it. You know what I mean? Like they had like Damn Daniel in one of the earlier ones. They had people who were part of like all different aspects of the internet and not just YouTube, which I think definitely has changed. And I think watching back 2018 Rewind, because that was the one that really got so much hate. It's like one of the most disliked videos on the internet, like on YouTube. It's really bad. bad. And I watched that back to try and reflect on why it was so bad, and I think that was a main reason, but I also think the growing disdain for YouTube as a platform makes it not fun to watch too. They had this whole section in the 2018 Rewind where they were talking about like, thank you to all the creators who talked about their mental health, thank you for all the creators who did XYZ, and creators on YouTube who talk about their mental health are literally demonetized. Their content is not pushed by YouTube. Their content is not monetizable by YouTube. They are not allowed to talk about those things without getting demonetized. So YouTube doesn't support that. And the same thing with, they had this whole sequence where they showed all the bad things that were happening in the world, like shootings and crazy things like that. And it's like YouTube doesn't support creators who try to do something about that. Casey Neistat tried to do something for charity when one of the shootings happened a couple years ago, and they demonetized his video, even though all of the money was going to charity and he wasn't talking about it in a like sensationalized or bad way. They demonetized his video and wouldn't remonetize it, but Jimmy Kimmel talked about it and his video got premiere ads. I think with the growing feeling that YouTube just truly doesn't actually care about their core creators has caused this sort of animosity, and I think the fact that so many YouTubers are being so open and honest and sharing this animosity and sharing this anger and sharing this frustration, because it's impacting every creator, especially very big ones, it's impacting all of them. So with them sharing how they're feeling about YouTube, sharing how draining it is, sharing how even just YouTube as a job itself, how draining it is, like how the constant pushing of analytics, how if you don't upload for like 3 days, you're screwed. Now you're out of the algorithm. It's been shown via creators that YouTube does not actually and truly care about its creators. They care a lot more about the celebrities and the talk show hosts and all of those things because they make them more money. And I think there's an argument to be made 100% that because YouTube is a business, of course they care about money. That's an obvious, like they're a business, they want money. Nobody's saying that's what's wrong. But I do think if you're going to go that route, YouTube as a platform, if they're going to go the route of, you know, only caring about bigger people, only caring about numbers, I think if they're gonna go that way, then they also can't expect to do these big rewinds where they include all of their favorite creators and show what an amazing year they had. Every day on YouTube, we see more and more creators being open and outspoken about demonetization, about not getting support, random channels getting demonetized for no reason, certain communities ganging up on other communities. Like, trending page is full of just garbage. It's full of crap that like is like music videos that were paid to be there. Like, I know they claim it's an algorithm, but I don't believe that for a second. The fact that in the 2018 YouTube Rewind, they couldn't even be bothered to include people like PewDiePie, who is literally their, at the time especially, was their biggest creator on the platform, and they couldn't be bothered to include him. So I think that brings me, 2018 was bad. That was a horrible rewind, and I think it was horrible not because it was the way it was, because in reality it was just like all the other rewinds. It was really no different than the other rewinds, except there was more talking, so maybe they shouldn't have talking in it, but like it really wasn't that different, except for the fact that we all kind of know what's going on behind the scenes. The intention and the kind of like cutesiness of it is worn off, because we know that even though Liza Koshy's in this video, she's so stressed out she hasn't posted on YouTube in a freaking year. Like, we know that when we watch it, so it's not as enjoyable to watch. And I think that brings me to 2019's, because I didn't like 2019's, and I think the reason I didn't like it was for a few reasons. I didn't like it because it felt lazy, and that was my biggest gripe, was I was like, I could have edited this. Like, I know so many editors who could have edited that video. Their approach to this year and their kind of theme of this year was, we're gonna put up the most liked content by you guys. What content did you guys like the most? And there was some good moments of, at least they did include PewDiePie. They acknowledged him as a creator, which is great. They include Eugene Lee's coming out video, which was fantastic. I think they included that little tiny snippet about the sister scandal because they wanted people to be like, I think that was purposeful. Like, I know technically that had the most likes or whatever, but I think it was purposeful to include that because they wanted people to be like, look, they are addressing the controversies. They are acknowledging that those controversies happened, which is like, okay, whatever. I guess technically they did, but I feel like that was purposeful. Like, they did, that's the thing. I feel like I'm so on to YouTube at this point of like, they did that because they wanted you to think that. Like, it was all kind of a manipulation. This whole 2019 Rewind kind of felt like a look at how much better we are and how much we're gonna start listening to you guys. They don't. They don't listen to anyone. They don't listen to the creators at the top who are actively complaining about things and telling them they're screwing screwing up the platform, care about creators like me. I also take issue with the implication that numbers and likes dictates exactly what was like the most important parts of the community. I don't know, something about, I feel like there's this huge focus in YouTube and this big narrative they push that like numbers aren't everything, numbers don't mean everything, like even if your numbers aren't the best of the best, like that doesn't mean you're not successful. But then their entire YouTube rewind was like, if you got the most likes, you're the most successful creator. Like it just feels kind of disingenuous on the part of YouTube. And like the fact that they included Shane, I was really happy about that, because whether you like Shane or not, his views speak for themselves. He's gotten hundreds of millions of views off of his series, and it's the same thing with David Dobrik. And again, like at least they did acknowledge those creators this year, which are creators they left out in the past. But in doing so, they left out other creators that could have been in it, and other creators that make an impact on this app, and other creators that are just as important. I think the real issue here is they're never going to win anymore. I don't think you can replicate what the earlier YouTube rewinds were, and I think it's because YouTube has turned into such a corporation that does not care about creators. And I think it's because there's so many creators on the platform now that it's just like literally impossible to keep up with every trend and make everyone happy. And I think the combination of the two, of it constantly growing and YouTube constantly screwing over creators, makes it so anything that they put out and anything that they're gonna do feels disingenuous. And so honestly, I'm not saying like don't keep trying, like keep doing YouTube Rewind, whatever, but like I don't think it's ever going to have that same magic or the same, I don't know how to describe it, that same feeling of community. I think that feeling of community coming from actual YouTube itself is kind of gone, because we all know that's not how they actually act. Talking about YouTube like it's a person. It's not a person. Like technically Susan's the CEO, but like YouTube's a company. And I think that's what it really comes down to, is there's not really a lot of trust or faith in the company anymore. We kind of, like we all post on here and we, you know, utilize YouTube for what we can, but really the only other, it's really the only option unless you want to go to TikTok, I guess. But I think if we were given the opportunity to post somewhere where creators were valued and keep the numbers we have now, like I think a lot of people would switch over. I don't think there's a lot of loyalty to YouTube anymore. I will say, a creator by the name of JLaw, who has only 61,000 subscribers and should absolutely have more, created kind of, I think it would be, created their own version of YouTube 2019 Rewind, and it was so good. I'm gonna link it down below so you guys can watch it, because it was so good. And I think it was so good because it came from a creator. It came from somebody who watches the content and is a part of the community. Like that's why this version was so fantastic. They actually kind of took it even further, which is honestly what YouTube should have done in the first place, because it's literally the end of a decade. How easy would it have been to just do like a decade recap of everything? Then you could have brought in those old nostalgic pieces of YouTube that everybody kind of feels like is missing and gone from these rewinds, while also bringing in newer people. I don't know. The whole thing, it just felt lazy. And it feels like now they're just trolling, because like everybody's still like, it's bad. And they're like, no, it's not. It's great. It's what you liked. So if you don't like it, you picked the content. So, and it's like, I don't know. I hope you guys like this video. I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to talk about, and I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Do you think YouTube could ever bring back sort of the golden days of YouTube Rewind, or do we think it's just over? Because I kind of think it's just over. I love you guys so much. Happy Glowmas. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, I'm actually wearing Hi Friends merch. You can still get this, but I don't really promote it anymore because it's like my old stuff, but I still love it. My merch, and I also have Glowmas merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right. You can go click on that link. You can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. What's better than that? You might ask? Nothing. And if you're not from the United States and that link does not apply to you, please make sure you're staying informed on what's going on in your part of the world, what's happening in your country, what's just going on, so you can use your voice in a positive way, because the world absolutely needs more of that. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, ow, ow.